what I've found is that since starting my newsletter and connecting with more TCKs is that the most common thing that comes up that is a bit of a misunderstanding with TCKs is that they think that their ability to adapt to an environment is seen as like a skill and a strength. And I think on paper, logically, of course, that's true. A lot of TCKs are fantastic negotiators and they're great in international relations. Obama's a TCK. I get that on paper. But when you're talking about it in a more interpersonal, social, relational context, like your day-to-day relationships and friendships, the things that actually make your life meaningful in that sense, like what they are actually saying is that they are willing to give up their identity easily for other people and move aside what their own needs and wants and desires are because they're so used to doing that that it's not a problem. So they actually portray their ability to kind of be flexible as a strength. Whereas I think that in order to establish a sense of self and to have strong identity culturally and otherwise, you have to know how you show up in the world and who you are and who you want to be and stick to your guns about it. Because then people don't see you as like some confusing, flaky person that's hard to understand. Like if you constantly change your standards for everything, then it's no surprise that TCKs end up feeling very confused about who they are. And that's come up a lot in the conversations. They're like, I don't know who I am. I lived in these countries. I'm a bit of this and a bit of that. I'm like, you make a choice. You basically decide who you want to be. And you acknowledge the fact that in one culture, it's telling you the complete opposite of the other culture. And that's okay. You still made a choice not to sit on the fence. Because TCKs often talk in this way. It's like, well, on one hand, in this culture, this is how we do it. And I'm like, and then my cultural counselor is like, but what would you do? She's like, thank you for telling me how Chinese people do things in this culture and how British people. She's like, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm just telling you how they do things. She's like, well, then you haven't made up your mind about who you want to be. So I think my rant just now is about identity negotiation is to say that, yes, it is the most pressing topic in TCKs. And it's also the one that is misunderstood, like the most as well. Because it seems like a strength, but it can easily be a double-edged sword, actually.